I was in Samsun to attend the EUROAVIA Fly-In that took place from the 26th to the 30th of January. And it's slideshow time, everybody, because I didn't film a lot on this trip. My journey starts in Dresden as usual, and I'll be taking a Flixbus to Berlin to catch my flight from there. For this trip, we will be flying Turkish Airlines, which I have done once before, and I really enjoyed this flight a lot, taking an Airbus A330 registered as Tango Charlie Lima Oscar Bravo to Istanbul, where I met up with a friend of mine who was also going to Samsun. An Airbus A319 registered as Tango Charlie Juliet Lima Victor took us over to Samsun on the Black Sea coast. Once we had arrived, we set out to get on a bus to take us to our accommodation. We didn't speak any Turkish, so we had to communicate somehow via Google Maps to convey where we wanted to go and ask people using translator apps. We got to our accommodation that evening eventually. The next morning we started our day by being driven to breakfast in this beautiful retro bus that took us back into Samsun city, where we enjoyed a plentiful Turkish breakfast with a view and then continued to the Amazon's hill where men were punished for being around. Understandable. We took some group pictures and then headed back down to the coast where there were some statues. And in some free time we also went go-karting and then continued with our city tour to the historical replica of the ship on which Ataturk had arrived in Samsun. I then also went ahead and took a picture in front of the Samsun train station to send home to my family, and we then ventured into the city. On the evening of the first day we had some delicious pide with sides and ayran, and then we went out to play some pool. The next day was a bit more educational. We spent it on campus where we first heard some presentations from the sponsors of the event and had some free time where we played some foosball, and that got to the best part of the day, which was the rocket workshop. We were given a kit to build our own rockets, which we did using glue and carpet knives. It was honestly such a cool experience for me as a total noob regarding everything that is concerning space travel and rocket engines. And then we took our rockets to the beach, took some group pictures and launched all the rockets. Some of them deployed the parachute successfully and some of them didn't. Overall, that was a crazy cool experience, and we took our small bus to a nature preserve to go bird watching afterwards, where we also enjoyed the sunset. Dinner was held back in Samsun, and we continued on to hold the Spirits Night in a small cabin, which had a nice campfire place outside, so we were able to present all of our snacks and drinks while sitting around that. Honestly, goals. Back in the dorm at 3 AM we had a small visitor that even got into our beds. Oh, and I also did an Instagram takeover for EUROAVIA that day, check it out on their account. We got to sleep in a little the day after and had a small bakery breakfast, and then took our little bus to Ladik, a mountain town with a ski resort. Even though there was no snow, we got to ride on the chairlift and enjoy the view. Smile, everyone! We drove to a small mountain lake and had dinner there, after which we enjoyed some drinks for our final evening in Samsun. Honestly, our time there was way too short, and I had to catch a flight back home the next morning at 4:50 AM, so we stayed up to get a bus at 1 AM back to the airport and on to Istanbul on a Turkish Airlines A320 registered as Tango Charlie Juliet Papa Lima. I slept through that entire flight and woke up in Istanbul again, and then went on to Leipzig on Tango Charlie Juliet Yankee Foxtrot, a Boeing 737-900 ER. From Leipzig I then took a train back home to Dresden. My flights to and back from Samsun were among the cheapest per kilometer I ever took. Only 292 euros in total for 4 flights and around 3 cents per kilometer. In comparison, my Ryanair flights are usually around 5 cents per kilometer. I also want to thank everyone from Samsun for such an amazing event. I enjoyed my time there so much, and I hope to see you all again soon.